Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's chat One Piece chapter 919. Oh boy, wow, 900s. Anyway, let's get into it. So I haven't been really covering One Piece as religiously as before, just because these past chapters have been kind of hard to talk about. But this week's chapter brings home the mystery, and it brings home the revelation that when Momo said he thought he met Roger, he was right. And that is a scary thought. Also, for people who do not know, the channel is currently being besieged by a copyright strike again. So I am not going to be posting any images of the chapter in this chapter. It's just going to be pretty much like just an audio file. So let's continue. Anyway, this chapter brought a lot of stuff. So, you know, there was also like that horror aspect. There's that foreshadowing aspect where you could be like, wow, yeah, Oda really planned out that fact for a while. And that was a really good hint in the way that Oda dropped it. It's really cool. It's super cool. Like that moment when you find out they're from 20 years ago, that's really cool. But then it becomes really interesting when you kind of try to consider, when they just consider like, I guess, how did Doflamingo factor into this? Why was he after Momonosuke? Or like, how did he know? Like, did everyone know that these guys were from the past? When Jack goes to Zou, did he know that he was looking for samurais from 20 years ago? You know, I haven't fully caught up with the logic, so if I'm missing a detail, let me know in the comments. But I just think that's a really cool little plot twist. And I also liked that Oda was playing into it a lot. He played into the horror aspect of there being ghosts. Like for a second I thought Kinemon and the rest are ghosts. Oh my god. But this revelation is a little bit more interesting. It being a time travel thing. You know, not unbelievable. One Piece, there might be a time travel fruit. Not that hard. Even Momonosuke's mother, maybe she might even have a really high level of observation haki such that she can see the future and she knew of some circumstance, or she saw a scene with 9 samurai showing up all at once, you know. It could happen. There's a lot of things that could be what's going on here. I'm very interested to see what Kinemon says next week, and thankfully we don't have a break, so we get to see what happens next week. So I'm really hoping for some pretty cool stuff here. I hope we're gonna see. I want a cool mechanic, but right now, if I was to try and guess, I would definitely see there's a combination of maybe observation haki and maybe a devil fruit getting involved. But by far, this is a pretty cool mystery. And the chapter did something interesting halfway through where it did a bunch of exposition. Now, in like exposition that's presented in one chapter and it's answered in the same chapter, you know, isn't that impressive because it's something that's planned and written within one chapter, right? You start up with the little thing with the kids in class learning about their past 20 years, and you know, all this serves is to give us some lore and to set the backdrop that wait, something's not right with the Kinemon story, right? So the scene ultimately works just for a bit of indoctrination, to show how indoctrinated people are. It shows off to potentially reveal a devil fruit smile user, or maybe even a Wano exclusive race. You know, in the lady that has the giants, the snake, well, that lady that pretty much has snake-like qualities, you know, it might be that. And then we just have more exposition about the legend of the 9, what was it? The 9 scabbards? Is that how you pronounce it? Let me just look back here. Gonna find that word real quick here. Whatever. You guys all saw it. It was I'm gonna call them the 9 samurai who will show up on that moonless night. Or it will show up to bring the dawn to the world. Pretty interesting stuff. Before I continue though, I just want to like kind of put this idea out there. The Tengu, right? Like we saw that there was a Tengu and he has wings, and now we see like in this chapter that there was a snake lady. I wonder if that is actually a race and not a devil fruit based creature, because there's really nothing stopping a long neck person from existing, right? I would like to see more about her, but if we see more snake people just running around in Wano, we can realistically say like, hey, this is a race, and that would be pretty cool. I mean, like, when you think about it, there's dwarves, there's Skypians. I don't think there's nothing stopping a woman like her from being from just another race, but we'll have to see. Anyway, Among the other interesting things in the chapter, before we get into something I really want to talk about, there was Sanji and the rest of the crew meeting up with Luffy, and there was Zoro getting lost while he was on the dog. I don't want to believe he got lost. I want to believe he sensed a presence and he went off to fight it. But you know, it's Zoro. We can never be too sure. Anyway, the crew comes back, and they had a very interesting line where they thought that Luffy was at the bottom of the ocean. But for them to explore the bottom of the ocean, doesn't that mean that they had to take the submarine? Or did it have to be Sanji? Maybe Sanji could have gone to the bottom of the ocean to look. But that was a really interesting line. And I'm not too sure how they did it. Well, they might have done it with Law's crew, because they got in touch with Kinemon anyway. Anyway, not a big deal. One thing that I am left wondering as we get to the end of this chapter, though, is who exactly are going to be the 9 samurai? Because the wording from the translation that I read kind of makes it seem like the ones that came from the past were Kinemon, Momonosuke, Kiku, Raizo, and horrible artist Kanjuro, right? Those were the way that he ends off that panel or that line makes it sound like those guys were the only ones to come through. That leaves 4 people still needing to fill the role of the 9 shadows. Now, because Momonosuke is being counted in the group of a bunch of the samurai that got teleported through, you know, it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to tell. It's still a very vague prophecy. Like, you know, it could be the 9 Straw Hats being the 9 shadows that show up and bring the dawn for Wano. Or it could be a combination of the samurai and some of the Straw Hat crew. Maybe people like, we have, okay, if we were going to say Momonosuke is not getting counted, maybe we could say, well, it might include Kanjuro, Kinemon, Raizo, 3, Kiku in there for 4, maybe throw in Luffy and Zoro since they're wearing swords right now. Luffy's very taken with the cursed sword, so he's pretty much counting as a samurai. So with them, that's 6. You throw Law in there, maybe you get 7. You could throw maybe Brook in there, but you could also throw someone like Inugarashi. He could also be in there. So I'm very interested to see who the 9 shadows are going to be. I'm sure when we see that moment, it's going to be a great moment. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm sure everyone in the One Piece fandom is going to be like, that was so epic. I'm pretty excited. I think that's a really nice setup of expectations there. Now we just gotta kind of find out who's going to be in the grouping. Who's going to be one of those 9. It'll be really interesting to see. If anything, this chapter does get you kind of excited to see the future here. And also there's the good thing that Robin was there listening to this prophecy, so she might have heard like the whole little story there. And she did not break Poker Face. One last thing that I'll say is that I counted maybe between 10 and 11 graves depending on the angle. So, you know, you count out the 2 parents and that's still potentially 9 people to account for. And you know, we count out the 5 that we have and you then get left with 4. I'm interested to see if there's 9 samurai from Wano or if there are 9 outsiders. That's going to be the big thing that I'm going to be looking forward to in the future. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought down below. Like, give me like any kind of predictions you got. But till next time, that's it for me. I have pretty much nothing else to say. Overall, this was a really fun chapter of One Piece and I am very excited for next week. Till next time though, I hope you have a good day.